What's going on, everyone? Welcome, Rabid here, and in my possession I have the new Iceriver AE0. Now, I got kind of excited at first because I look at this, I'm like, wow, did they send me the big one? Is this the light? Oh my gosh! So I pull this out of the way, I flip that out of there, and no, it's not. It is the AE0 here, and there's no power supply. So I'm going to go through this and make sure there's no power supply, but usually it's in this slot right here. I don't even know if I have one because I sent my previous miners away with power supplies, so I might be screwed from the get-go, so I'm just going to run around and see if I can find myself a power supply or not. Alright, so I found one in this little bone pile here, but it is only 90 watts, so I do need at least 110, 120, I believe, because this is probably, especially when they warm up, it's advertised as 100 watts, so it's probably going to be using, a little bit more than 100 watts. So I can't use that one. I do have another one over here. So we got this one here, I hope will work. This one does look like it is the proper wattage, 119 watts or so, but it has a plug that's not for North America, so that sucks. So this does have a 3-prong ordealio here, and if I take the other power supply with the 90 watts that we just looked at, unplug the power end, and this has a 3-prong thing. So we should be good to go with this power supply. I think I got lucky in this case. And there we can see the model AE0, and I do want to point out Iceriver did send me this unit as part of their new KOL program. I think most YouTubers fall under it at this point in time, but keep in mind this does not change what we say about the miner. They do claim we can say whatever we want, good, bad, horrible, throw it in the garbage as soon as you get it. Doesn't matter. It is our own opinion when it comes to any miner coming from Iceriver. It's just there to declare that they will send us units to showcase to people to see if they're any good or not. Now, obviously, if you are looking for miners, because some people are always looking, they're buying everything, and other people don't really care. So if you're one of the people that are looking for miners, and you know you're going to get one no matter what, you guys know where to look. Anyway, let's take a look at this thing right now. We do have the AE0 here. The design is a little bit different than previous models. On the front here, all we have is our reset button. So if you have to reset this or factory default or anything, hold this down for about 10 to 15 seconds. Here's our green and red light. And then coming into the back is now where our USB ports and stuff are. So we can see a USB port right here. This is a little knob here covering up a possible Wi-Fi connection. So I don't know if that is live yet. We do know in, I believe it was the KA lights or one of the previous one, maybe it was the Aletheum lights, that this is not yet implemented, even though it's there, and those have been out for quite some time. They claim a firmware update is coming to do that, but it hasn't hit yet. Not that I'm aware of anyway. We got a power ordealio here, and of course our internet Ethernet plug right there. And it's still the same design we've seen with all previous of the Zero models from Iceriver, so I imagine this is going to get pretty darn hot, just like everything else. Everything is exactly the same. So now let's show you how to set this up and what current profitability looks like. Alright, so all you really need to get started here is plug in your internet over here, your power right here, and then find your IP somewhere on your dashboard here. I just use my router and find the newest device, and then you go into the dashboard and set everything up. Alright, so here we are inside of my router, and I can see the latest thing showing up is an Iceriver at this local IP. So just plug this into your browser, and that should take you to the dashboard. That should bring you to the login page here. So username is admin, and the password, it's been a while. I think it's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. We'll hit login. There we go. So admin and then 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. All right, so we can see they are hashing away here on Whalepool. This is their wallet address and everything. I'm just going to save this address so I can track it later on over through time here. So I already did that. But anyway, so here is our parameters. Now we got to set up our own parameters for this. So we're going to go into mining settings here, and this is where we're going to adjust everything. And make sure you do change all 3 pools, because it seems like on the latest miners here, maybe I'll try it with just one. The first KS0s and stuff, you get away with just one, but it looks like as of the latest versions, you do have to set all 3 or it's going to give you an error. All right, so before we throw in our parameters, we got to find a pool. So I do like zk.work, but I got the gold shell miner, the AE box on this pool, so I'm tracking it kind of on this one. I'm probably going to have to shut it off soon, obviously, as hash rate increases, and these things are just inefficient on the gold shell miner. So I'm going to find a different pool. Iceriver is partnered and use Whale Pool for their testing at this point in time, so I might just go with that because that's where everything was tested. There shouldn't be any issues and stuff. So Whale Pool is recommended from Iceriver to use, but then again, you can choose any pool that you do want. Another thing that I'm going to have to do an updated video on later is tracking long-term hash rate of it. As you know, gold shell miners, every day, at least 2, 3, sometimes 6 times a day, you notice hash rates just drop. They just come out of here like nowhere. There's lots of rumors flying around, like just like we saw with early Iceriver miners, they're not even mining the chain correctly, and therefore they're just beta miners. They're trying to release super fast for stupid high prices, and if they shouldn't even be released yet. But is that the case? I have no idea. All I know is that every single day it does hit hash rate drops to 0 for about 20 minutes to a half an hour, and then it comes back again. Some days is better, some days is worse than others. So long-term hashing, I do want to see how the Iceriver one does do. We're going to get a nice steady line, or will we see hash rate drops as well? That video will come later on in the future. All right, so here we are on Whale Pool, and it looks like 0% fees for 1 month here. It looks like starting from March 19th. So this started a long time ago. So that kind of sucks. These are just shipping, and then it might, almost be out of this already. So this should be starting like right now because these miners are just starting to ship, but we'll kind of see what happens. Check details. I'll look more into that in a bit. But coming into here, we're just going to go into our, I guess we're going to find the Leo here, mining tutorials. We got to find out where our stratums are. So here it is, US Whale Pool. So I'm just going to copy all of this right here, right click, copy that, come into our miner here and just get rid of this, get rid of that, and get rid of this, and paste that in right here, right here, and right here. I'm using all 3 the exact same stratum. So obviously, you can choose different stratums. Maybe you want to use different pools for backup pools. Totally your choice. So now we got to set up our wallet and worker here. So I'm just going to base it off my account and see if this works here. So I'm going to go rabidmining.AE0, and I'm just going to copy this and paste it throughout them all. So copy, and then I'm just going to go like this and go like this, and I'm gonna see if this works right here. And then password, I'm just gonna go X for all of these. So I'm just gonna go X, 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 and then I'm gonna save that like so, and it should be good. So now we're going to see if it begins hashing, or I might have to put in my wallet address here. As for your fan speed, this has been an issue since early Iceriver. We didn't know what was going on. If it is off and at 0 by default, all this, it is actually auto fans. You can configure this to go to straight 100% by clicking on the box here, move it to 100%, hit save, reboot, and it'll be at 100. But I'm just going to let it go on this. Auto fan should work. It does like to keep its temperatures. All the Iceriver miners, if they're too cold, they don't hash as well. If they're too hot, obviously they don't hash as well, and they burn even more power because they're less efficient. So that does try to keep in that nice middle ground, and obviously that depends on your ambient temps as well. So I'm just going to come into home here now, and let's see if this thing, I'm going to reboot it. I always like to reboot all my miners right up to start. So I'm going to reset it now. Now, while I wait for this, I do have some more setting up I got to do at Whale Pool here, like add in my Aleo address. If you don't add in an address, you're not going to get paid anything. So keep that in mind, and make sure you do click the add Aleo address. All right, so we are hashing away, and we are detected at the pool. We can see one online worker. It did take like 5 to 8 minutes for my rig to finally be detected at the pool. So after a couple minutes, if you're not seeing it, just wait a little bit longer. But I do want to point out it was 5 to 8 minutes. I can't remember exactly. I don't know what's going on with the KP per second. Obviously, this is your 24-hour average hash rate. We don't have that yet. That will be in updated videos here. Our 15-minute hash rate, we're not quite there yet, but it has MP per second. So is this like megapixels per second? We're dealing with a camera. We're camera mining. But, you know, this is mega hash. We should be in the mega hash here, and this should be kilohash for saying this, but it is saying MP. Now, maybe I'm reading something wrong. Maybe Aleo's algorithm has weird hashing, and it's actually P stands for something else, like the ZKP protocol and stuff right there. But, you know, for everyone, this is supposed to be mega hashes here. And so far in the 15 minutes, we are 49.2, but we're not running for a full 15 yet. So that will update. I'll try that in about a half an hour to see where it's standing. We are about 122 watts at the wall right now. And our dashboard is telling us about 71.6 mega hash, and the average, obviously, we don't know for sure yet. And then it's been up for 16 minutes. So again, I'm going to let this run for a half an hour to an hour so I can get some 15-minute averages here, things like that. And we'll just take it from there, look at profitability and all that good fun stuff. I also want to point out we have 96 accepted and 0 rejected shares. So that's obviously awesome on that aspect. So while I do wait for an hour of averages and things like that, we're going to come in and look at pricing and stuff of these models. And we can see the AE0 here, it is updated to 60 mega hash. It says 100 watts. We are seeing already it's 122 watts. So we have to actually adjust this right here to change that out. I was expecting more power, so this shouldn't be anything new to realize. So because we are now at 122 watts instead of 100, that does drop our efficiency from 600 kilohash per watt down to 491, which is still destroying all of Gold Shell's miners here. This is coming in at $799, which works out to be $13.31 per mega hash that you're purchasing here. Now, keep in mind the AE1 Lite just released, like I said, like 4 days before the original AE0s were supposed to ship. They announced this miner, which comes in at only $9.33 per mega hash, making for a faster ROI and a more efficient machine. So both of these should be turning on today. Sadly, I only have the AE0. And then people in the United States, keep in mind with these prices here, you're going to have to add like 145% on top of this for import fees. So I don't think many people in the United States are going to be looking for miners at all unless you can get them coming in directly. But that price, because they're new, people are paying imports to get those even into the States. So there isn't really any local inventory because everything is coming from China. So keep that in mind. Imports are going to be huge. So it's going to be rough out there. And I don't even know what to say about Gold Shell's latest miner, 230 mega hash, 2000 watts. They actually have a different one now as well. I think it's 360 mega hash at 3300 watts or something stupid. So I should actually find those numbers and I'll add those in right quick. All right, so I did find that the AE Max is 360 mega hash at 3,300 watts. They're actual, one of their worst efficient miners under the AE Box 2 here, coming in at 100. Actually, it looks like the AE Box Pro is the worst, but it's 109, worse than the AE1M, which already sucks. So they are just throwing out bad miners constantly here, and obviously Iceriver are much better. I 100% would say if you are looking for an Aleo miner, go for an Iceriver miner. But the big question is, when is Bitmain going to release their miners, as well as Iceriver releasing their big miners? And that's just going to make all of these miners just garbage. So that is the timeline. Depending when those big ones release is how much you have to actually try to ROI these, because when they release, these are not going to be making any yields at all. And just looking at the current profitability, a lot of these are starting to get turned on now. They're not on yet. So I do want to see this now, and then I can look back at this video and say a week or two's time, maybe in a month, and take a look. But one thing to keep in mind here is once the network hash rate starts increasing and stuff, yes, even though the AE Max, and I don't even think it's released yet because they don't have a price, but once the network hash rate starts picking up, this is going to start falling behind all of these miners here because they're so much more efficient. Example, depending on your power price, we go to 25 cent, we can already see that happening. We're now at 25 cent power. The AE1 Lite at 300 mega hash is making $43.50 after power here, where the AE Max already fell down to only $36 because it's just not efficient at all. All right, so it's been a little over an hour, but I just went into my Telegram and I got an update from Iceriver, and they claim that Wi-Fi is in the settings now. So as we can see, Wi-Fi is right here, and you can turn it on, but they don't come with an antenna. They also indicate that you're gonna experience lower hash rate possibly by using Wi-Fi until future updates do come into there. And then as for the antenna, I don't know if you're gonna have to buy it later, or they're gonna ship it out to people. I highly doubt they're just gonna ship out antennas. This probably should have came with one initially, especially if they plan on integrating that Wi-Fi, but it does look like the option is here. If you do have a Gold Shell miner, you could probably just plop the antenna on there. I do believe they're all the same. So that's an update. And another thing is coming in and looking at the Gold Shell numbers. Obviously, I pointed out earlier about the hash rate drops. This happens every day, even with the Byte miner. So far, every gold shell Leo miner I've tried, this does happen at least 2 to 6 times a day, depending on it. And Iceriver did let me know that I was unaware about this, but the Leo algorithm does have 33 mini algorithms in it, so a lot. So it's bouncing around between them all. So we are kind of seeing kind of what happened with a lithium, where gold shell was only mining one chain. That's why DX Pool initially at first got on there, so they rushed their product to market, and that's why we're seeing the hash rate drops, because when it hits certain algorithms, the gold shell miners can't even mine them. So again, another testing phase miner is coming out from gold shell, and we're seeing this in the Byte as well as inside of the AE box that I have. So I wanted to point all that out as well. So we are over an hour here. I am refreshing the pool, and we can see that our 15-minute hash rate is about 69.1 mega hashes here, and our 1 hour is about 65. So we are doing, you know, over 60 mega hash here. Again, you're not really sure how well it's going to do until you get a full 24-hour hash rate. So I'm going to let this run for a week or so, maybe 5-6 days. We'll see what happens. That way I can get average hash rates, and we can see if any type of hash rate drops like we see with gold shell miners. They shouldn't, because Iceriver did tweak this. So hopefully everything plays out. So this is what the numbers for the AE0 is currently looking like. And one last look at the power after it's been online for an hour. It looks like our power consumption actually came down to about 119.6 watts. I did open a window, so it's running a little bit cooler here. I just want to run in to see what it's running at, 69 and 56. So yeah, it is a little cooler. It was 70 and I believe 60 or something on temp 1 and temp 2. So it's a little bit cooler here. So that may be why we're optimized. We can see our fans are working here. So that pretty much does wrap this up. Remember, you know where to look if you are looking to get these miners. Honestly, Bitmain, once they release these, are all going to be bricks, and this is coming in a little more expensive than the AE Lite. So, you know, it all depends. It's totally up to you. Let me know down in the comment sections if you're looking for these miners, if you plan on getting any of these miners, or if you're just skipping them entirely. I'll see you on the next one. Rabid out.